Black screen, 1 heartbeat. Then the roster drops like a guillotine. Caitlyn Clark, 17. No explanation, no apology, just a cold, sterile graphic on USA Basketball's Instagram that might as well have been a tombstone for the most iconic number in women's sports. Voiceover drops low, almost a whisper that slices the silence. They thought changing 2 digits would be quiet. They thought the girl who turned cornfields into coliseums would just comply. Hard cut, slow motion montage of 22 exploding across every screen in America. Iowa sellouts, Fever jersey swinging from rafters in Paris boutiques, little white girls in hijabs and black girls in braids screaming the same name like it's scripture. Then freeze on the new graphic again. 17 slapped next to her name like a scarlet letter. Voiceover colder now. They took the number that made her a household name before she could legally drink. The number that sold more jerseys than every Olympian combined. The number she wore when she broke records. They said a white girl from Iowa never would. Smash cut to Caitlyn in her childhood bedroom. Walls still covered in 22 posters, staring at her phone. One single tear rolls down her cheek, but her eyes are steel. Voiceover rises like a storm. They forgot one thing. You don't dim a supernova by changing the jersey. You create a black hole. Cut to black. White text detonates across the void. Breaking. CAITLINCLARK. Just refused to play for Team USA. The palace thought 17 was logistics. She just made it a declaration of war. And the girl they tried to erase is about to burn the whole damn roster down. She was never supposed to be the face. Caitlyn Clark, small-town Iowa kid with a ponytail and a jumper smoother than silk, raised in a state where basketball dreams usually die at the county line. They told her white girls from the heartland don't get to be the revolution. She answered by dropping 41 on South Carolina while the entire country forgot to breathe. She became the reason grandmothers in Lagos learned Wi-Fi passwords just to watch Fever games at 3 a.m. The reason little black girls in Atlanta started shooting from the logo and little Latina girls in San Antonio started believing the logo could love them back. The reason the WNBA went from cute sideshow to can't miss television in one rookie season. And across the table sit the villains in blazers and Olympic rings, clutching pearls and tradition like it's oxygen. The same committee that left her off the Paris roster while ratings tanked harder than the 2008 economy. The same gatekeepers who erased her from the Team USA poster like she was a smudge on their legacy. The same old guard who smiled politely when Aja and Brina carried the flag, but panicked the second a white girl from flyover country started carrying the culture. They watched her sell out arenas in cities that never sold out before. Watched Nike drop a signature shoe faster than they ever did for anyone not named Sabrina. Watched the president quote her stats while they got polite golf claps at best. And still they whisper, too flashy, too white for the brand they spent decades protecting, too loud for the quiet dynasty they built on black excellence while quietly cashing white nostalgia checks. They handed her a rookie contract that wouldn't cover rent in Manhattan while men's G-leaguers bought Lambos. They let columnists call her overhyped while the same writers praised veterans for half the production. They scheduled her games on streaming apps nobody has while the men got Christmas Day. They thought the number change was the final flex. It was the match, because while they were busy protecting their precious hierarchy, Caitlyn Clark was building a movement that doesn't ask permission. And the girl they tried to shrink into 17 just picked up the pen, and she's about to write her name so large the whole damn federation will have to spell it in lights. It dropped at 9:07 a.m. Eastern, quiet as a coffin nail. USA Basketball posted the official training camp roster. 28 names, 28 numbers, and right there in the middle, like a typo nobody bothered to fix, Caitlyn Clark, 17. No press release. No, we're thrilled. Just a sterile PDF and a graphic that looked like it was designed by someone who still uses Comic Sans for funeral programs. Within 6 minutes, the internet caught fire. Aja Wilson, 22. Brina Stewart, 10. Sabrina Ionescu, 6. And Caitlyn Clark, the woman whose 22 jersey outsold the entire 2024 Olympic team combined, suddenly wearing a number nobody has claimed since the Clinton administration. The comments were instant carnage. This is giving segregation vibes. They left her off the Olympics, and now they're erasing her identity. 22 is literally the reason half these new fans even know USA Basketball exists. Then Christine Brennan, the queen of the old guard, went on air and called it standard protocol, voice dripping with the same tone they use when explaining why the lunch lady can't have health insurance. Standard protocol, she said, while conveniently forgetting that no other player on the roster was asked to change a single digit. Not a Jack, not Stewie, not even the rookies who haven't earned a single WNBA start. And the real gut punch, the roster shows 22 is assigned to 22 nobody. That's right, the most marketable number in women's sports is sitting there empty like a middle finger aimed directly at Caitlyn's legacy. Twitter detectives went full CSI. Screenshots of last year's All-Star game where Aja and Caitlyn were both listed 22 with 0 issue. Clips of FIBA tournaments where multiple players shared numbers and the world kept spinning. Proof that USA basketball literally changed the rulebook overnight just to make this one point. The white girl from Iowa must be humble. By noon, Lil Wayne was on stage in Des Moines screaming "Free 22" to 30,000 people wearing Caitlyn Clark jerseys. By 2 p.m., the official USA basketball post had 400K quotes, all of them the same. "Give her the damn number back." And somewhere in Indianapolis, Caitlyn stared at the roster on her phone, thumb hovering over the group chat where every teammate was already typing in all caps. They thought the ambush would teach her place. They forgot she's the same kid who stared down sold-out arenas chanting "overrated" and turned it into gasoline. The palace just handed her the match, and the girl they tried to erase is about to light the whole damn hierarchy on fire. For 12 glorious hours, the palace celebrated like they'd won the Cold War. USA basketball's PR machine went into overdrive. Anonymous sources leaked to every major outlet that Caitlyn had graciously accepted the change, that she was excited for a fresh start, that this was all about team first. They even dug up a 2017 high school clip of her wearing 17 like it was some gotcha prophecy. Christine Brennan took a victory lap on television, voice syrupy with condescension. This is how legends are built, learning to put ego aside for the flag. The chyron underneath read CLARK embraces new era. Old guard Twitter lit up with the same tired scripture. She hasn't earned 22 on this stage. Diana never complained. Kids today think fame equals legacy. They posted side-by-side photos. Caitlyn's rookie face next to Sue Bird in 2004, as if 4 rings and 20 years justified stripping a kid of the one thing that made her a phenomenon. By 6 p.m., the official Team USA account posted a graphic of the roster again, this time with a little American flag emoji next to 17, like slapping patriotism on the wound would make it heal faster. The comments were disabled within 30 minutes. The ratio was biblical. In a private group chat leaked by someone who clearly wanted blood, a high-ranking official wrote, "She'll fall in line. They all do." Another replied with a single thumbs-up emoji and the words, "Humility lesson delivered." They toasted in a hotel bar in Virginia, clinking glasses of overpriced Chardonnay, convinced the noise would die by morning. They refreshed her Instagram expecting the usual brand-friendly post, "Honored to represent my country in any number." Instead, they got nothing. Radio silence. Profile picture still 22. Stories wiped clean. The victory lap kept rolling. A former Olympian went on ESPN and sighed, "I wore whatever they gave me and won 5 golds. Maybe gratitude looks different now." The clip got ratioed into another dimension. They told themselves the message was received. They told themselves the kid from Iowa would bow. They told themselves the little girls watching would learn to stay in their lane. And for one shining moment, they believed the sport was safe again in their manicured hands. Back in Indianapolis, Caitlyn sat on her couch in the dark, phone face down, the roster still open on her laptop. One text lit the screen from an unknown number. "Whatever you decide, we ride with you. 22 or nothing." She stared at the message for a long time. Then she smiled. Slow, lethal, Midwestern. The false triumph lasted 12 hours. The rebellion just got its battle cry. And the girl they tried to humble is about to make the entire federation beg for the number they never deserved to take. The temperature went from simmer to hellfire in under 6 hours. First it was the vets. Aja Wilson, queen and rightful 22 bearer, went live from her kitchen and said the quiet part loud. "I never asked for this. Nobody called me. Y'all just decided for both of us." The chat exploded with heart emojis and "Protect Aja" trending in 7 countries. Then Cheryl Swoops, the original 22, dropped a voice note that got stitched 10 million times. "They didn't take my number when I was the young phenom. They waited until the white girl broke every record I set." Interesting timing. The old guard panicked. One by one, anonymous senior national team members started leaking to their favorite reporters. "Caitlyn's being divisive. She hasn't paid dues. This is why rookies should be seen and not heard." By midnight, the pylon was ritualistic. A former Olympic coach went on a podcast and sneered. "She thinks because Middle America bought her jersey, the flag owes her something." The host laughed like it was 1996. Stephen A. Smith tried to thread the needle and got torched from both sides. Shannon Sharp called it plantation politics in Lululemon. Joy Taylor just stared into camera and said, "They scared of the wrong one." Caitlyn stayed silent on Maine, but the group chats were leaking like sieves. Screenshots surfaced of her telling teammates, "If they can erase me today, they can erase any of us tomorrow." That's when the villains went nuclear. A USA basketball spokesperson held an emergency Zoom at 2 a.m., voice trembling with rehearsed outrage. "This is not about race. It's about respect for the jersey and the women who came before." Translation: "Sit down, little girl." They trotted out a graphic showing every player who ever changed numbers for country. Problem was, half the examples were from the 1980s and the other half were men. Twitter finished them in 10 minutes. Then the racism jumped out raw. A blue-check nobody with 300K followers wrote, "Maybe if she acted more grateful instead of entitled, they'd let her keep it." The quote tweets were a masterclass in ratio surgery. A Jack came back swinging, posted a photo of her and Caitlyn hugging at All-Star with the caption, "My sister keeps her name, period." Brina Stewart quote tweeted, "Some of y'all never had to share a number and it shows." The suits tried one last kill shot. Someone close to the committee leaked that Caitlyn had been difficult in conversations, that she demanded 22 like the roster revolved around her. The narrative flipped overnight. Spoiled rookie versus humble veterans. That's when the dam finally cracked. At 4:17 a.m. Caitlyn posted a single Instagram story. Black screen, white text. "I was raised to speak when they tried to erase you. Tomorrow I speak." The palace spent all night sharpening their knives. They had no idea the girl from Iowa was about to bring a guillotine, and the rebellion they thought they could smother with talking points just got its general. She went live at 10:00 a.m. sharp. No makeup, hair in a messy bun, 22 Iowa jersey hanging behind her like a battle flag. No intro music, no smile, just those Iowa cold eyes staring straight through the lens. "I'm only speaking once. Listen close." The chat hit 1 million viewers in 43 seconds. She held up the official roster, 17 circled in red Sharpie. "This isn't about a number. This is about who gets to write the story." She flipped the paper over. On the back she'd printed every leaked text, every anonymous quote, every source close to the committee smear, highlighted like crime scene evidence. "Y'all said I was difficult. Y'all said I didn't pay dues. Y'all said I should be grateful to wear any number for my country." She let the silence breathe. "I am grateful. Grateful my grandma taught me that gratitude doesn't mean letting people walk on your neck. Grateful my dad taught me that respect is earned on the court, not handed out in back rooms." She leaned in until her face filled the frame. "Let's talk facts. 22 is empty on this roster. Not taken, empty. They created a rule that only applies to one player. Me." She clicked to the next slide. Side by side of the 2024 Olympic poster with her face photoshopped out. Then the new roster graphic. "They erased me once and ratings fell 40%. Now they erase my number and think I'll just smile and salute." Her voice dropped to a whisper you could hear in the back row of a sold-out arena. "I carried this sport on my back when half these suits were still calling it a sideshow. I brought sponsors. I brought little black girls, brown girls, white girls, immigrant girls who never watched a WNBA game before me. I brought billions of eyeballs, and your thank you is to strip the one thing that belongs to me and the kids who wear it to bed." She held up her phone. Screenshot of a 7-year-old black girl in a 22 Clark jersey crying at the roster news. "This is who you punish, not me, her." Then she did something nobody expected. She opened the USA basketball app, went to the training camp RSVP page, and clicked decline, and turned the screen to the camera. "I'm not coming, not in 17, not in any number that says my legacy is negotiable." The chat detonated. Phones across America started buzzing with push alerts. She kept going, voice rising now righteous and calm. "You want the flag on my chest? Earn it the way I earned everything else, by respecting the people who built the house before you burn it down trying to keep one girl out." She looked dead into the lens. To every little girl watching who ever got told her name was too big for the jersey they gave her. Your name is the jersey. Your story is the number. Don't let anybody, not a committee, not a country, not a legend with 5 rings and a grudge, take it from you. One final pause. "I love this game more than any ring, any medal, any passport stamp, but I refuse to play it on my knees." She reached forward and ended the live. The screen went black. For 3 full seconds, the entire internet held its breath. Then the palace doors started shaking, because the girl they tried to humble just declared independence on live television, and the revolution has its declaration. The internet didn't break, it detonated. Within 30 minutes, let her wear 22 was the #1 global trend in 47 countries. By the 2-hour mark, the clip of Caitlyn clicking decline had 900 million views and was still climbing faster than her college scoring average. TikTok turned into a war room. A 10-year-old Dominican girl in the Bronx stitched the live with tears streaming. "They took her number like they take everything else from us." A queer black teen in Atlanta overlaid the roster graphic with audio of his mom saying, "They always try to shrink the ones who shine too bright." A white mom in rural Nebraska filmed her daughter burning the 17 practice jersey they'd pre-ordered and mailing the ashes to USA basketball headquarters. Then the Giants landed. Aja Wilson posted a black black screen and 4 words. My sister said no. Brina Stewart quote-tweeted the declined screenshot. Some lines you don't cross. Sabrina Ionescu, who'd stayed quiet for years, finally spoke. I wore 20 because they told me 6 was taken. Never again. Even Diana Taurasi, the untouchable, the one they hid behind like body armor, posted an old photo of herself in 3 for USA with the caption, I chose that number. Nobody chose it for me. Lil Wayne dropped a 30-second freestyle on IG. They tried to change her digits like she ain't the whole code. It hit 100 million views before dinner. LeBron James quote-tweeted the lie. Protect the ones who protect the game. AOC held an impromptu presser outside the Capitol. When the face of your sport says no, you don't double down. You ask why the table was built too small. Corporate America sprinted like they were late for salvation. Nike rushed an all-black 22 hoodie that sold out in 9 minutes. Gatorade pulled every Team USA ad that didn't feature Caitlyn and replaced it with her live clip and the words choose your number. Then the boycott numbers hit like a meteor. Training camp ticket pre-sales cratered 94% overnight. The official USA basketball store took every 22 item offline for review and crashed from traffic anyway. Parents started mailing their kids' youth national team jerseys back with notes. My daughter keeps her name. By Friday, the pile of returned jerseys blocked the entrance to the Colorado Springs Training Center. The Players Association issued a statement. Solidarity with Caitlyn Clark. Numbers are legacy. Legacy is non-negotiable. Translation. Touch one, touch all. Late-night hosts who spent decades ignoring women's hoops suddenly cared hard. Zeal ran a mock jersey generator. Be black and breathe in 22. Ban. Trevor Noah called USA Basketball the blockbuster of patriotism. Mad at Netflix for existing. And through all of it, Caitlyn stayed off social media completely. No victory lap. No interviews. Just silence that somehow screamed louder than the apocalypse. Because she knew the fire was spreading on its own. The palace was burning from every zip code. And the girl they tried to erase just became the reason the entire sport might have to rebuild from the ashes. The aftermath was never punishment. It was prophecy. And the coronation of a new era just got its queen. The lights in Gainbridge Fieldhouse come up slow, almost holy. 40,000 phones rise like a constellation of quiet resistance. Caitlyn Clark walks to center court alone. No warm-ups, no script, just a black hoodie that reads MY name is the number across the chest. She doesn't speak at first, just lets the roar wash over her, then raises one hand. Silence falls like grace. They wanted you to believe this was about 2 digits on a jersey. She shakes her head slow. This was never about cloth and ink. This was about who gets to decide whose story matters. She looks straight up at the banner, where her 22 already hangs retired next to Reggie and Tamika. They tried to teach us that legacy is something they hand down when you've been humble enough, quiet enough, grateful enough. That greatness has to audition for the right to exist out loud. Her voice softens, but it fills every rafter. My mother taught me different. She taught me that when they try to erase your name, you don't shrink, you multiply. She taught me that service isn't kneeling. It's building rooms they forgot to put doors on. That ancestry isn't just who came before you. It's every little girl watching who finally sees the court has space for her fire too. She gestures to the stands, to the sea of little faces wearing every color of skin, every language on their lips, every kind of beautiful holding up cardboard 22s like scripture. This sport was built by black women who refused to be background, carried by Latina pioneers who played through broken borders and broken promises, protected by queer kids who turned locker room slurs into anthems. And now it belongs to all of us who refuse to let them police joy to protect their comfort. She lifts a new banner rising behind her, a silhouette of a girl from the logo, surrounded by every flag in the building tonight. Underneath, one line, your name is non-negotiable. This isn't my victory. This is the victory of the immigrant daughter in LA who learned English watching my games, of the black girl in Baltimore who shoots in her driveway because the gym still costs too much, of every kid who ever felt too white, too brown, too loud, too queer, and heard someone finally say, come exactly as you are, the game is already yours. She pauses. The arena holds its breath. They thought stripping one girl's number would scare the rest of us into silence. They forgot we are daughters of women who crossed oceans, picket lines, and color lines with nothing but faith that their babies would never have to beg for a seat they already paid for. We don't stay erased. We burn the eraser and write in fire. The lights shift to every color of the rainbow, ancestral and future all at once. The crowd starts chanting, soft at first, then thunder. Tutu, tutu, tutu. Caitlyn finally smiles, tears falling free now. The palace didn't fall. It burned clean, and from the ashes we rose, not as problems at their table, but as the architects of a new house, where every little girl who ever felt her name was too big gets to walk in and hear it roared like prayer. She dresses drops the mic, lets it fall. The sound echoes like the first crack of a revolution that will never be silent again. The queens have claimed the court. Now it's our turn to guard the number. The lights dim until only Caitlyn remains in the center circle. 40,000 phones glowing around her like a living constellation of defiance. The chant fades into one heartbeat you can feel in your chest. My voice drops in, low, final, burning. They thought 2 digits could break her. They forgot she was never theirs to break. We are the daughters of factory workers who clock doubles so their babies could dribble at midnight, of immigrants who crossed deserts with nothing but a dream and a prayer that their kids would never have to choose between pride and a paycheck, of black and brown and queer kids who turned every "you don't belong here" into rocket fuel. Tonight, we didn't just save Caitlyn Clark's number. We claimed every number they ever tried to take from us. So here's the truth they still don't want you to carry in your soul. When we rise together, white, black, brown, immigrant, trans, loud, proud, no committee can keep us small. The court was never theirs. It was always ours. If this story set your blood on fire, smash that subscribe button right now. Turn on the bell, because the revolution didn't end tonight. It just got its number back. Drop in the comments the moment that made you cry, made you scream, made you text your little sister. Your name is non-negotiable. Tell me your city, your flag, your jersey number so we can say it loud. Because the next time they try to erase one of us, 50 million of us will be waiting with the same answer. My name is the number. My story is the legacy. And nobody, not a federation, not a flag, not a ghost with 5 rings, gets to write it but me. We are the joy they tried to regulate. We are the storm they tried to schedule. We are the queens, and we are just getting started. See you in the lockout, familia. See you when they beg for the table we already built. The screen fades to black. One final heartbeat. Then the lights come up on you. Your move.